Drop the gun! Show me your hands!
So you're thinking of going to a Major League Baseball game and want to know how safe it is to be wandering around the streets outside the stadium. So we're going to rank the stadiums from the safest to the least safe using the reported violent crime stats, not just from the city, but the neighborhood the stadium is in. So let's get into this. Number 30. If we were going by Milwaukee's overall city stats, American Family Field, home of the Brewers, would be nowhere near the top of the list. But the field is far enough outside the bad parts of Milwaukee that it's in a very safe neighborhood. In 29th, PNC Park in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh overall is better than many U.S. cities, and Pirate Stadium is in one of the better areas of town. In 28th, we head north of the border to Toronto, Canada, and the Rogers Center, home to the Blue Jays. This has the third largest seating capacity of all 30 stadiums. In 27th is the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio, home to the Reds, another stadium that finds itself in one of the safer areas of the city. In 26th, Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. If you don't mind stepping over or around homeless people, this one is statistically relatively safe. In 25th is Fenway Park in Boston, Mass., the oldest of all the stadiums, built in 1912. It also has the shortest distance to center field of any stadiums at 390 feet. Boston, as far as big cities go, keeps a decent hold on crime, and this park is in a good area of town. In 24th is Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. I know, how can Chicago have one of the safer stadiums? Well, there's a lot of people there, and this is in a better than average neighborhood. The Cubbies play in the second oldest stadium, built in 1914. Fenway and Wrigley Field are the only two stadiums built prior to 1960. In 23rd is Truist Park, home of the Atlanta Braves, another stadium way outside the city, which makes it safer. This one is in Cumberland, Georgia. In 22nd is T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington, home to the Mariners. In 21st is Lone Depot Park in Miami, Florida, home to the Marlins. In 20th is Coors Field in Denver, Colorado, the second largest stadium seating at 50,144 people, is home to the Colorado Rockies. In 19th is Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California, which has the largest seating capacity of any stadium at 56,000 and was built in 1962. Get yourself a Dodger dog and feel safe tucked away at this stadium. In 18th is Oracle Park in San Francisco, California, home to the Giants. In 17th is Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, home to the Tampa Bay Rays. This is the smallest stadium, seating only 25,000, and is also the only fixed-roof stadium in the league. In 16th is Citi Field in Queens, New York, home to the New York Mets. Get yourself in trouble here, and you're just a short drive to the infamous Rikers Island. In 15th is Citizens Bank Park, home to the Philadelphia Phillies, another stadium placed in one of the safer areas of the city. In 14th is Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, home to the Houston Astros. The city of Houston was just ranked as the 50th most dangerous city in the world, but this stadium, thankfully, is in a fairly decent area. In 13th is Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio, home to the Guardians. In 12th is Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago, Illinois, home to the Chicago White Sox. In 11th is Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan, home to the Tigers. This stadium has the largest distance to center field at 420 feet. Detroit was recently ranked the 19th most dangerous city in the world, but the stadium's in one of the safer parts of town. In 10th is Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota, home to the Minnesota Twins. In 9th is Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, home to the Rangers. This is the newest stadium, built in 2020. In 8th is Nationals Park in Washington, D.C., home to the Washington Nationals. This is where we start getting into areas that are a little more concerning. In 7th is Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Sorry, Yankees fans, statistically, it's safer to root for the Mets. In 6th is Oriole Park at Camden Yards, home to the Baltimore Orioles. This stadium and all that follows are in areas you wouldn't want to be walking alone at night in, or driving, or even being in at night, or even during the day for that matter. In 5th is Busch Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri, home to the St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis ranks 27th among the most dangerous cities in the world. In 4th is Petco Park in San Diego, home of the Padres. Unlike many of the other stadiums, this one finds itself in one of the worst areas of town. In 3rd is Ring Central Coliseum in Oakdale, California, home to the A's. Oakland as a city is bad, but this neighborhood the stadium is in is even worse. Oakland was ranked the 38th most dangerous city in the world. In 2nd is Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri, home to the Royals. And it came as a surprise to me, but the number 1 most dangerous area for a stadium is Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona, home of the Diamondbacks. Phoenix overall isn't a bad city, but the location of this stadium is in one of the worst areas of town. So that was all 30 stadiums ranked from safest to most dangerous. 8 of the stadiums are in cities that rank in the top 50 most dangerous cities in the world: Baltimore, Detroit, St. Louis, Oakland, Milwaukee, Chicago, Philly, and Houston. The majority of the ballparks are in safe or relatively safe areas, but there's a few you may want to keep your head on a swivel while walking around to and from.